Hey guys, Thomas the Solid Genie here, aka Mustached Tom, here to review the movie Expendables 4, or Expendables, depending on if you want to say it that way, based on this poster. But anyways, if you end up enjoying this full movie review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also make sure to check out those links in the description. One will head you over to my petition to help out smaller YouTubers, so get a third to my Patreon and PayPal, where you can help support me and my channel directly, and fourth to my Discord server you can join, collab, and chill, and do all that cool stuff. And chilling will be reminded at the end of the review. Now, I will say that in terms of seeing trailers for this, I didn't see them until after I actually saw the movie, so there was already that. As well as after 3 Expendable movies, I was pretty sure they were done with these. But in the era of overbloating franchises until they're milked dry and there's no content left, I can't say I'm very much surprised at all that another franchise could try to continue to make movies within its franchise, despite there probably being no material left, which brings us to this movie. So, we begin this movie in some military area, I'm not even sure where, but they just want to jump right into the action. Not really a whole lot of setup, just some area. It doesn't tell us where it is, so there's that. And these people are getting attacked, and a tank comes in as a counter type attack. But then the tanks begin to get attacked in a counter attack. We cut to Stallone's character, whose name I'm not even going to try to remember any of their names of the characters since they have code names anyways. Jason Statham is now with Megan Fox for some reason. She's a new addition to this squad. And they say that, or at least Stone claims that he's doing what he does for the money. Because that's what the franchise is all about. You know, the movie just wants to admit right out of the gate what it's there to try to do. It's all about the money. It's all about making that money. Which, listen, I get it. I got the hustle. I get it. You gotta make that dough. But listen, you gotta put a little bit more effort in. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Come on. You know? Anyways, Stallone drags Statham along to do some heavy lifting in a attack on this crew that he had been stolen from, this ring. But Stallone does a little bit of a cross-up on one guy at the very most. Anyway, after that, they don't take too long to get us to show the rest of the crew, which they're joined by some of the previous members as well as some new ones, including one played by 50 Cent of... okay. Again, not sure why they introduced the new ones that they introduced. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. It's always like... okay, so I'm trying to think of like... right, so mega celebrity, or not just mega celebrity, but more importantly, one that is also simultaneously known for being a sort of... that can easily jump into training or gun-wielding expertise. I guess he qualifies, question mark? I don't know. As well as Fox and this other woman who's introduced here as well. All of these 3 new introductions, again, there's also this other new guy. So there's like 4 new members on this squad. But anyways, we learn that now they're planned for the CIA. And their target is known as Ocelot. Because, I don't know, Metal Gear was a thing. But I'm pretty sure they just came up with that on their own. Ocelot is doing his own thing, for example, showing how evil he is by killing a kid after getting a code. That's in the movie, which is okay. We know how evil he is. Got it. So, most of the crew gets off. A chase begins over Ocelot when they find out where he is after that current getting of the code. And the chase scene goes on for quite a bit. Stallone is the only one that's remained in the plane, which we see blow up, which, if I remember correctly, I think their plane blows up in every single movie that they're in. So, when we see the plane explode right out of the gate, and we even see a pile of bones, we go, well, I mean, that's happened in every other movie with the exception of a body. So he's probably still alive. Go figure, he's still alive. Whatever, spoiler, it's after the fact. I don't really care. And nor should you. 'Cause boy oh boy, did they not care to do much here. Except action sequence after action sequence. But, considering how they assume that he's dead, Jason Statham goes on to take on a new job. It's all about that money. So he goes to be a bouncer for a influencer. And an influencer who's also an asshole. So he's probably a bigger influencer. I mean, where's the lie? Am I right? Or am I right? Sorry, but I just have to assume that most big influencers on this day and age are assholes, and very few of them are actually humble. And I mean, very few of them are actually humble. But that's just reality. Unfortunate. But that's the way of YouTube and Twitch. It's not like they're any difference from one another, except I don't know what else except to say except that right now. They're both kind of doing pretty dumb things and pretty good things, I guess, so whatever. Anyway, getting back to the influencer, he talks down upon some woman because he thinks he's all shit, and Jason Statham pursues to kick his ass, which goes viral on the internet. But of course that gets him fired since, obvious. Anyway, he goes to Fox, where they get into a fight, but their fight leads to, well, what I refer to as fight sex, which is what happens. They fight at first, and it leads to sex happening later on. Anyway, after that, Jason Statham begins to scout. And he very briefly fights this boater guy who knew Stallone's character apparently, and tells him the news about that. Meanwhile, the rest of the team gears up to try to stop Ocelot before he can do some civil, what was it? Super War 3 or whatever, I don't know. Anyway, so Statham and the boatman are traveling, and the crew gets there beforehand, and they get trapped real quick. And they're a part of that trap, the initial trap. However, this allows Statham and boat guy, or initially just Statham, to get on board and to continue his attack, which is a stealth attack at least for the time being. But he makes contact with Ocelot, the bad guy, and now they somehow just know his location based on his walkie-talkie. Not sure that's how that works, unless they have, GPSs installed in their walkie-talkies. I'm not sure walkie-talkies have, a ping signaling system, a part of their system. Again, I'm not sure that's how that works, but whatever. It allows the new action sequence to take place because, establishing any semblance of characters just beyond this movie. And a shootout begins. He grabs a machine gun bike, and they chase him up to the upper deck. He takes down some more men. The boatman joins the battle officially, and they do some gun-knife combo up. And the other group is escaping, so they eventually converge here. And all the while, they use a dead man to drive a bomb into a crew. It's a smaller bomb, so it doesn't blow up the entire boat. And the crew slow walks in, at least some of them in the frame. But a few combat saves happened, and a few more combos happened within this action sequence. And we have one of our team getting injured. But there's no deaths on the good guy's side officially, but we'll just say one person at least got injured. Anyways, Statham meets with Ocelot, and eventually he uses the axe that he got from previously. Yes, he grabbed an axe and then used it to his advantage in this battle. Anyway, we find out the CIA guy was the traitor all along. They set up there's this potential traitor, and they think it's each other. Turns out it's the guy who was in control of them this whole time to start this whole war thing. And Statham uses a rocket launcher that he just finds up there, I guess, to make some devastation to make sure that he is like the only guy left. Meanwhile, the rest of the crew slip into a smaller ship and make their way away. But Jason Statham stays behind. He turns back to the boat, and he makes sure that it's turned back and re-guided backwards, and make sure it cannot be re-guided once again. So, the CIA agent still has some goon squad on him, so he decides to kill one of them in order to get the rest in line, because of course we have to have that bundle of sequence happen in this type of movie. Anyway, they get mowed down by a helicopter, including the CIA agent, and of course it ends up being Stallone, in which, after the fact, and after the party reunites, we see how he escaped and used a corpse as a fake body double-out to pull out the CIA agent in this spotlight in the first place. Which is exactly how they get him to do all of that, and get him dead. And that was that. This movie is a bunch of just action sequences with very little setup. And even less so, I'm even more surprised, a lot less of that quippy behavior that the Expendables used to have with each other, sort of quipping on each other's like real-life personas as a part of that. And here there doesn't seem to be any of that, or at least I didn't catch any of that, and I'm like, wait a minute, wasn't that part of just sort of the fun of the Expendables, or at least, a portion of it, was sort of that, the characters having those sort of moments throughout the movies? I don't know, I thought that was a thing that was supposed to be maintained. It doesn't seem to be. It just seems to be action without any substance, which, that doesn't go over well, and this is the absolute proof that just having an action sequence is, just having a bunch of action sequences without any character setup is the equivalent of having a horror movie where all your characters are just assholes and you just want all of them to die. It's sort of the equivalent of that, except for an action movie. You just kind of get bored of the action sequences, and you don't really care if the crew makes it out whatsoever. And even the fake out just seems like you're bored of it because they didn't set up anything properly, even in that in those regards either. So, in terms of this one, it's a really weak score. I think it's suitable to give this a 4 out of 10, unironically, so the movie isn't, completely broken from top to bottom, but it isn't exactly great by any means and has lots of flaws with very little setup and very little character development in the progress of said story. So that is my full review of Expendables 4, or Expendables. And if you ended up enjoying this full movie review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also make sure to check out those links in the description. One will head over to my petition to help out smaller YouTubers. Second, third to my Patreon and PayPal, where you can help support me and my channel directly. And fourth, to my Discord server you can join, collab, and chill, and do all that cool stuff for free. And until next time, everyone, bye-bye!